We have a very special art program at our school, which is fabulous because the kids get to experience all types of art. The town supports the art. I've never known a public school where the art program is supported as well as we are. And they have many possibilities of what they can explore, and the facilities are pretty amazing. The ceramic facility is better than many colleges. So when they leave us and they come back and they say, I didn't know how good it was. I didn't know what I had. And I think that that's pretty amazing.
Art and Applied Technology, our department has that title because it incorporates what would be considered like traditional arts, painting, printmaking, drawing, sculpture, along with more technical, almost like engineering aspects. So we have a shop for fashion design, we have a woodworking shop, we have a ceramic studio, we have a film studio with digital media. So it's sort of encompassing what you would traditionally consider, art classes, along with what we call applied technology.
The students learn many things by doing art. One of them is how to problem solve and think creatively. And I think that's one of the most important skills that they can take away. Because as we know, not all students will be artists when they leave the high school, but the skills that they learn will carry them through their life.
If you look at the basic process of the basic scientific process, the scientific method, and then you look at an artist's method, they're the same process, but usually with a different objective. So if you're solving an engineering problem, you have a really specific problem that you're trying to solve, but the way you go about it is you have a hypothesis, you try some different experiments, and then you analyze, see what happened, and then you repeat the process over and over again until you find a solution that's durable and that works. If you're an artist, you're not trying to build a bridge that's going to hold up cars necessarily, but you're trying to solve an artistic problem, a problem of expression or of aesthetic, or a problem of communication. Those are kind of your objectives. But the process is the same. You have a hypothesis, you try a bunch of stuff out, you see what works, and then you repeat the process over and over again. So it's a creative process, a process of inquiry and discovery and repetition, usually, to get a good product.
So in woodworking, we have to spend a lot of time talking about designing and proper construction techniques. So we'll spend a lot of time talking about joinery. We want things usually be symmetric or to a certain scale. For example, this table was made a little bit smaller than a traditional coffee table on purpose. It had to fit into a certain space. It was designed for a certain area. And the student had to spend a lot of time figuring out all the different joints, how we were going to attach this bottom shelf to the rails, and designing all of that. So there's a lot of pre-work that gets done. So all the students in class are required to do a drawing with a list of all the materials they're going to use before they even begin construction. We figure out all the joints, and then after that, then we finally get the wood out and start trying to make our product. So there is a lot of pre-planning, and then in the end of it, after it gets all done, there's a lot of time spent finishing. So, I mean, there's a lot, and that's the boring part of woodworking, the sanding and the finishing work, but it really makes a huge difference in how the product, the final presentation of the product.
It's not usually the product. These aren't the products for me. The students are the products. So the students will surprise me, and after seeing a number of students make things that that are at a certain level, certain quality, sometimes really surprising, excellent quality. That's great, and we love to show off the objects. But the students are the real product, and having the students have the experience of going through the process of making work, of deciding what's important to them, what they want to show off and how they want it to be shown off, and then being able to explain themselves to an audience. Can they talk to somebody, tell them what they did and why they did it in a compelling way? That is the most exciting thing for me. So like students that, like we have a student who has had 2 different shows at the high school where she had her own openings, and she handled their own press, and she taught classes. Basically, they would bring their class down. Caroline would talk to them about her exhibit, and she taught the class. And so she was, that experience, having her have that experience under her belt, doesn't matter what she goes on and does, that's going to benefit her. The same thing with, I'm thinking of another student who was, I think, a little shyer and more reserved as an underclassman. And now she has presented her work and her ideas to the art department staff. She's explained her work and why she's taking criticism. She's talked in front of larger groups about her work out in the community. And she'll be doing it again in front of, let's see, I think the Rotary Club coming up. So that kind of opportunity for the kids to make something, but then bring it out there, put it in front of an audience, see how they respond to it, explain themselves. I think that is, there's huge value in that. The kinds of students that the classes attract vary widely, and the reason the students are in the classes varies widely. So at Barnstable High School, the students have a number of different options for what classes they can take. So when they're a freshman, I think that they have 8 different introductory level art classes that they can take. So they can take wood shop, they can take fashion design, they can take digital media, they can take animation, they can take ceramics. We have a wide variety of different classes that they can take. Students take them for different reasons. Sometimes they're taking it because that is their absolute passion. They know at that time, they're like, I think I really want to do this. This is something that I want to do. I want to go to art school, or I want to go to film school. Sometimes they're taking it because it's an interest of theirs. They have always been interested in it. They've seen other kids, upperclassmen, doing something, and they're like, oh, I'd love to take that and be involved in that. Other times, they are looking for a good solution for their art requirement. They have part of the requirements for them to get a high school diploma is they have to take an art-based class, and that could be art or music, but they have to take a class. So they are looking for something that will fit that interest. You know, like that's one of the nice things about having the variety is because it's a requirement, they're not having to take one class. They can pick from a variety there. So they're there for a number of different reasons, and the paths that I would consider successful are really varied. There's some students that take one class, an introductory level class, they enjoy it, but they move on, they do something else. That can be a real success. If it opens their eyes to a broader world and another way of looking at the world, then that's a success. But we also offer them the opportunity in all those shops for them to take year 2, 3, and 4, so they can really get a deep knowledge of whatever that discipline is, if they so choose. That can be another path for success. That can be something that they want to pursue as a career, but it can also be something that they want to pursue just because it's an interest of theirs, and they really enjoy it, and they want to incorporate it into their lives. So I would say that there's many ways for the students, many reasons for them to take the classes, and many ways for it to be seen as a success, in my view.
When my students come in, Ceramics 1, they have never experienced it other than maybe making a pinch pot or a small coil pot in middle school. So they see that they're not limited in their scale. They're trying to explore all the various techniques of hand building, and they get to throw on the potter's wheel. And it's wonderful when you see them connect to what you're teaching them and sort of fall in love with what they're doing and say that they love coming to class and they look forward to it, and it makes their school day.
Anyone can learn to draw. Anyone can learn to paint. You can make it super linear, and you can paint a photorealistic painting. Anyone can do it. Literally anyone can do it. But you have to have the patience and the belief that you can go through the steps and the repetition and the practice that it takes to get good at it, just like anything else. And so that the students who struggle with repetition and with practice, the technical side of painting something that's realistic might be really difficult for them. Just like anywhere else in the school, practice, repetition, attention to detail, organization might be a struggle for them throughout the rest of the school. Art does allow you other avenues for success. So you can paint something photorealistic, but you can also paint something that's expressive, that its objective is not to look just like a landscape. Its objective can be different. It can be trying to do something different, and a student may excel at that. The student that struggles with the photorealistic painting might really excel at a found object sculpture and really make amazing connections with what this object could be. Because oftentimes our brains are good at some things, but they're not good at all things. And we could be really good at making connections and at making associations, and not as good or need more practice with organization and with repetition and with practice. So I think a good art room offers all those students an opportunity to succeed and to practice the thing that they're not good at. I think you should be asking the students to do both.
If you look at the work that we have here, it is all unique and it's very expressive, and all types of kids from many different factions of our community come in and are exposed to the same thing no matter who they are. And if you look at the work, it's just amazing that kids in high school are doing work that is often like college quality. And I'm always impressed with the students and what they do.
I did mention earlier, this is only my third year working at Barnstable, and I think the art department at Barnstable is amazing. I mean, the full ceramics, the digital arts, the TV, all the different studios, you know, the traditional fine arts classes. So the seamstress work. So there is a wide variety of artistic pursuits offered at Barnstable High School. I mean, it's a very big school. I think that's the advantage. You have such a big school that you can do lots of different things. I think Barnstable's done a nice job of having a little bit of everything for all students in the arts. So it works out very well, in my opinion.
Barnstable High School is an amazing little community. And it's a diverse and eclectic and different group of people with all different backgrounds. And in the art department, we see everybody in the whole school. They all come together in the art department because they don't get, you don't end up having separating people out into honors or AP or these different delineations. Everybody takes the same introductory level class, and everybody has the opportunity to take it again and again all throughout their years there if they choose to. And that is a gift to us as teachers, and a gift to the community to be able to see all the different parts of our community together, and working together in the same room, sharing their ideas and sharing their work. So that's one of my favorite parts of the job.